I have a feeling that my electricity just tripped, and I hope it's not Eskom. Good day everyone, I hope you're all doing wonderful and well. Today's video I'm going to be doing a nice little flower jar, vase, jug, I don't know what to call this. Now that it's nearing Christmas, these are really nice and cute to use as Christmas gifts. This is gonna kind of be like a paint with me video, and it's not going to be too sped up. I'm just going to kind of be showing you how I go about tackling. Oh, I'm so close, hold on. That's a bit better. Yeah, basically it's how I tackle this painting, how I go about doing it, my process, how I'm going to draw it on and then paint it. I'm going to do it in the style how I did last week's video, kind of like this but like smaller. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. I love painting. I just really love painting. I'm gonna do this in acrylic. Guys, let's get started. I don't exactly have a plan, if I'm being honest. Yeah, so we're gonna do a little jug. It's quite cute. It's one of those little, like, I don't know what they call it. It's not like a milk carton jug, but it's just like a really cute little, what type of metal is this? Enamel. Yes, it's like a little enamel mug that I found. This is a free stock image. It's a copyright free image that I picked up from Unsplash. So that's where I got my visual from. I'm going to link it in the description, so you're welcome to check it out if you want to paint this as well. I'm obviously going to change it up a little bit because I don't necessarily like copying images exactly like the same. I'm pressing a little harder than I usually would, just so you can see what I'm doing. Put a little handle. See, I might actually change the shape of this handle. Okay, so we've pretty much drawn our little jug on. Let's just add in where our highlights are going to be and where our shadows are going to sit, like that. And yeah, so this jug is actually sitting on like a little muslin, I think it's called muslin cloth, almost like a that you put your potatoes in, like a sack of potatoes. I'm definitely not going to stick to the color palette that they've got going on, and I'm also going to change the flower arrangement, putting in wherever I want my flowers to be. And then I want some of the leaves to kind of do this, kind of come down and go into the flowers like that, and then kind of up like this. I want the leaves to just be these like luscious, beautiful green leaves. So this is going to be like the general composition. Maybe we should do like a leaf on the muslin cloth. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so I've literally just come along and added some paint to my palette. I still don't know what colors I actually want to use yet, so we're kind of just going to take this along as we go. I'm also using this Iris Heavy Body Acrylic White paint. Let's figure out what we want to do. I think I want to have, so in the reference image, what is this, a jug, a vase? I don't quite know what to call it. Yeah, okay, let's just go with like a jug vase. So in the reference image, this jug vase thing is kind of like a turquoisey color. So I do quite like it. So we're gonna go in and create a nice turquoise, and we're just gonna work with this as a base. So I just want to cover this entire area with this turquoise paint. We're going to add in a bit more of a shadow on this side. So I was filming, but I had my microphone off, so it wasn't picking up that I was speaking. Yeah, excuse that. But basically what I was saying, I will repeat it. I was just doing little semicircles and adding like a bowl shape underneath to kind of give the illusion that there are flowers in this little jar. So because this is a box canvas, I do have to go over the edges because look how thick this box is. So let's just extend that. Oopsie. And voila. And now I'm gonna start adding in some blue just to make it pop, because the opposite on the color wheel, the opposite of blue is orange, and that's why I've chosen orange flowers so that they complement each other really nicely. But now I want to bring in more green into this painting because the green will be nice and pretty. So obviously This will look much better later. It's just base layers currently. So let's get all of these in. Now, as you can tell, I'm not going directly from the tube, my paint. Just mixing your colors makes your color mixing so much more accurate. And when you have accurate colors and a nice color scheme or palette, your painting does look a lot better. So now what I'm doing is I'm just making little crosses, bringing in some highlights in the top of my canvas because I want it to be lighter on the top and richer at the bottom. I'm not fully mixing my colors. Let's update while we have these colors on my brush because that is the mission. You do not want to sit here trying to remix colors to make it nice. Although sometimes if I don't go over the edges of my canvases, I usually like to fill it with black or white. It's just way more low maintenance. Now I want to add in a bit of the muslin cloth. So I'm going to take color, mix it in with a little bit of white. Now I'm going to start adding in some leaves, but not full like blown leaves. These are just filler leaves, if we can call them that, just to kind of place where I want to bring some greenery out in this painting. I want to have some kind of dripping over the edge like that. Adds a nice little surprise to the painting. My jar jug, whatever it's called. My jar jug is feeling very blue and I want it to be more mint green. There we go. I've mixed some more of a mint green color. That's way better. Adding in a bit more green to get a bit more of a shadow. And I'm not using black. This was all created using that gray. Our light source is coming from here, doing that. That's why this is brighter, this is darker, and so this part is, you know, lighter. So our shadow would fall on this side. We need to add in a little bit of backlight. So whenever you're forming a form, whenever you're doing form and shadow and shading, all objects have a backlight. So if the sun is coming from here, the sun is gonna hit this object, it's gonna bounce back off and then off the floor and reflect onto your object. And I also wanna bring this up, give the illusion that it's actually open. I'm gonna have to wait for this to dry a little bit before I move on to the next layers because struggling a little bit, you know, you don't want your colors to go murky. I am going to add the mid-tones into my roses, which are going to be created by taking my burnt orange and adding a little bit of white. And it's going to create a cute little mid-tone, which we are going to use in the gaps that we haven't filled with shadow. And this will just add another layer of structure into the painting, and it'll also add depth to the roses. We haven't added the highlights yet, so those will be added in when this has dried a bit more or when it becomes a bit more tacky, because I don't want to lose that white while the paint is wet. Also, I don't want my green to mix in with my roses and form ugly colors. I do want to add in a little bit of yellow to my roses though, because I think this is quite a cute color to bring out, and I think this golden yellow actually works really well with our blues and greens that we've got going on here. So we're just gonna add in a tiny bit as another second mid-tone. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but someone's cutting their grass and I can hear it. I don't know if my microphone's picking that up, but hopefully it's not. Otherwise you're gonna be hearing all morning. So let's just add in one more here. I'm having so much fun actually. I find painting so relaxing and it really helps soothe my soul. When I'm stressed, I will paint or draw just to relax. This muslin cloth is getting a bit murky, which I don't want it to. I want it to try and maintain that rich sort of goldness, which I'm going to bring back in. Now that the paint's starting to dry and get a bit tacky, it's kind of making it a bit easier to work with, where the colors aren't necessarily blending completely into each other, but they're still wet enough for me to be able to pull and shade with them. So here we go. Whoopsie, I took the wrong gold. I've just added in a little bit of green to this yellow oak color, or ochre. I always want to say ochre, oak. I don't know what it actually is. I should really Google that pronunciation, but it's spelled O-C-H-R-E. Yeah. I don't know, I've never been able to pronounce it. So I'm actually gonna Google, let's actually Google that right now. Let's see, where's pronunciation? Pronounce. Okay, let's see what this says. Hope my mic will be able to pick it up.
There are many ways to get to work.
It's an advert. Put the volume down. Okay, here we go. Come on.
Ochre.
What? Ochre.
Ochre.
Ochre. Yellow ochre. Okay. Yellow ochre it is. So, we are dealing with yellow ochre. We put yellow ochre on our brush instead of raw sienna. So this is yellow ochre. This is raw sienna. I don't know if you guys can see that difference. Yeah. So this I would be able to use as a highlight in the plants, not as muslin. And this I can use as a shadow for the muslin cloth, which I've mixed in with a little bit of grey and a little bit of blue to make it a bluer tone. So it's like a blue toned warm color, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. We've got to pretend our shadow is being pulled from underneath this little jar. Jar? See, now I called it a jar. Jar, jug, vase, enamel cup. What do we call you? Okay, so now I'm going to mix the raw sienna with a little bit of white to create a highlight. So we don't want to put too much of a highlight back here because that is in the shadow. So whatever I put here cannot be lighter than this side. So I'm trying to use color and light to create the illusion of detail without actually having to put too much detail in the painting. Wait, I'm concentrating now. Okay, there we go. I'm going to mix a tiny bit of green, black, and blue to create this almost darker grey color that I'm going to place over here. This is in shadow and I wanted to show that it's in shadow. We've got to have, this is going to be the darkest area of this painting, as well as the opening of the vase, jug, jar. I just still don't know what to call it, so we're gonna say all three names. So you can see now that I've started to add in just a little bit of detail with the smaller brush. So what we're going to do now is I've mixed my sap green with a little bit of white to create highlight for our leaves, and I'm basically just going in and making leaf sort of shapes, leaf shapes. See, I've come to really like the style of painting and enjoy it because it's so free. I'm starting to lose my roses a little bit, which obviously I don't want, so I'm going to work back in now that I've done a bit of the greenery. I do want my roses to kind of pop out a bit more because they're so cute. So I'm doing this with my paintbrush, turning it in circles like this, and we adding it in over here, extending it to the edge. Because remember, this leaf is right here in the highlighted side, so I could add a bit of highlight into it. I'm gonna flatten my brush so I can get it as a nice flat point, and I'm going to place my hand like this and rest on my hand. Let me zoom out. So I'm going to place like this, rest on my hand, make a cup, lift my wrist up, and I'm going to start on the very side, there we go, and curve in just to add a tiny bit of a shadow under there. Okay, that's cute. I have a feeling that my electricity just tripped, and I hope it's not Eskom. So my electricity just tripped. It wasn't Eskom. So yeah, thankfully no load shedding for me, thank goodness. Very grateful for that. Anyway, I continued painting and I managed to finish it, and this is it. So I had lots of fun with it, and as I said earlier, they work really well as Christmas gifts, so I love giving them to my family members as Christmas gifts. I hope you were able to learn something, even if it's something small, from this video, especially since it was like a more tutorial based, like step-by-step, really slow video, so I hope it was beneficial for someone. Anyway guys, if you want to see more creative content like this, please subscribe to my channel, and please give this video a like if you liked it, and if you enjoy this kind of content, this sort of how to paint type of content. And follow me on Instagram as well, because I do post a lot on Instagram and I often ask questions on my Instagram, so be sure to check that out as well. Anyway guys, I hope you have a lovely week and I will check you next Monday.